Welcome to Plus Sports, the show where we give a different perspective on sports by looking at the stories of athletes who not only amaze but also inspire. I'm Patricia Bermudez Hizon. Here we will give you not just the latest in the sporting world, but also the stories behind the athletes' struggles, victories, and motivation. And we go beyond the numbers and celebrate these great athletic feats with you. With that said, let's discuss what's happening at the Tokyo Olympics, which has been hosting the Games for exactly a week now. So here is our take on Tokyo. It's day 7 of the Olympics, and Filipino athletes continue to face off against the best athletes in the world in different events. Filipino golfer Jovic Pagudsan continues to compete at the fairways against the world's best golfers in the men's competition. He is currently at the Kasumigaseki Country Club, the Olympic golf venue. At the first round of play yesterday, the 43-year-old Pagudsan, who is the oldest member of the Philippine delegation, finished tied for fifth after going 5 under par, even if the round was delayed for an hour due to bad weather at the back nine. He had 3 birdies, including one in hole number 1. Meanwhile, rower Chris Nievarez competed at the Sea Forest Waterway for the final time in these Olympics as he took part in the men's single sculls finals. The 21-year-old Nievarez was only playing for position and did not have a chance to win a medal, but he still did his best and managed to finish with a time of 7 minutes, 21.28 seconds. That means that Nievarez finished 23rd out of all the 32 competing nations in the event. And considering that this is the farthest that any Filipino rower has gone in the Olympics, this is still quite an achievement for the young rower. So we are really proud of you, Chris. From the Sea Forest Waterway, we move on to the pools of the Tokyo Aquatic Center, where our swimmer, Luke Gebbie, is scheduled to participate in his second event. Gebbie will join the qualifiers for the men's 50-meter freestyle event later at 6:10 p.m. The 24-year-old Gebbie previously participated in the men's 100-meter freestyle event on Tuesday, finishing 5th in Heat 5 with a time of 49.64 seconds. Even though he did not progress to the next round, Gebbie still set a new Philippine record at the event, breaking a record he set 2 years ago. With Remedy Rule already done with her Olympic journey in Tokyo, Gebbie remains our only swimmer at the Games. So we're still rooting for you, Luke. With several countries currently competing for medals in day 7 of the Tokyo Olympics, it's time for us to take a look at the medal tally. As of 10:30 this morning, China has jumped to the top spot of the medal table with 16 golds and 33 total medals. Host country Japan, meanwhile, has 15 golds and 25 total, and the United States still at 3rd place, taking in 14 gold medals and 41 total medals. The Russian Olympic Committee athletes, meanwhile, sit at 4th place with 9 golds and 30 total medals, while Australia rounds out the top 5 with 9 gold medals and 22 total medals. Meanwhile, Great Britain, South Korea, France, Germany, and Canada round out the top 10 countries in the latest medal tally. And over at 33rd place, the Philippines is still there. We still only have 1 medal on the board, courtesy of weightlifter Hidilyn Diaz, but with Nesty Patesio assured of at least a bronze medal, and our other athletes still in the contention for medals, that could change soon. So that is our take on Tokyo. When it comes to swimming, the name that immediately comes to everyone's mind is Michael Phelps, and for good reason. With 23 gold medals over the course of several games, Phelps is the most decorated Olympian of all time and is one of the greatest athletes in the history of sport. But one swimmer who also competes for Team USA is already gaining comparisons to Phelps, even though he admits that Phelps is the better swimmer. Today on Athlete's Feet, we talk about rising swimming star Caeleb Dressel. Dressel headed into Tokyo with 2 Olympic gold medals under his belt, but has now won 3 in Tokyo and has a chance to win some more. With his win in the men's 100-meter freestyle event yesterday, it was a special one because it was his first victory in an individual event, and he won the race in dramatic fashion against Australian swimmer and Rio Olympics gold medalist Kyle Chalmers. Following the race, Dressel was asked about being compared to Phelps, but he admitted that he doesn't like them, the comparison meaning, because he knows that Phelps is better. However, he also believes in his own abilities, and he even said that he doesn't need to be compared to Phelps in order to be considered great. He said that he's got other standards for greatness that goes beyond athletic competition, such as becoming better and learning as a man, an athlete, and a swimmer, which he says make him happy. Dressel then admitted that he doesn't keep the medals that he's won. So I wonder where he actually keeps it. Just curious. But he says that he just enjoys the race and always looks forward to his next one, for his humility and for using a different standard to measure greatness beyond competition. Swimmer Caeleb's athletic feats go beyond the pools. So he got our attention and admiration right here on Athlete's Feet. When we think about Team USA, we usually think of their men's basketball team, or the Dream Team, as they were called during the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. But there have been other teams of the United States that have also been excellent in different international tournaments. And one of them is their women's football team, which has won golds at the Olympics and has been the FIFA Women's World Cup champion several times. Today, we feature one of their top scorers and most recognized players, Alex Morgan, on Women in Sports. As part of the women's football team, Morgan has won almost every championship in the sport, including World Cups and Olympic gold medals. But no team has ever won the Olympic gold medal right after winning the World Cup, a goal which the 32-year-old and her teammates have set their eyes on. Even though they began their campaign in Tokyo with a stunning loss to Sweden and had a draw against Australia, Team USA is still through to the quarterfinals and remains in the hunt for an Olympic gold. Morgan has also established herself as one of the leading scorers in Team USA history and lead goal scorers at that, and has won accolades both at the club level and while playing for the national team. But more than her actions on the football pitch, Morgan and the rest of her teammates with Team USA have also been very vocal about several issues, especially when it comes to gender equality and equal pay for women. In an interview, she revealed that one of the reasons why she is fighting for equal pay for women is not just for herself or her teammates, but also for future generations of women, which includes her daughter, who was born last year. For her tremendous accomplishments on the football field and as a member of Team USA, also for speaking out on issues that matter to her, like gender equality and equal pay for women, Alex Morgan is truly one of the many incredible women in sports. From women's football, we move back to basketball in the NBA. No hoops right now is being played, but social media is still buzzing from the latest offseason events, which are the NBA draft and a huge trade involving the LA Lakers. Meanwhile, the PBA continues today with another triple header, while Gilas Pilipinas picked up another victory in their tournament in Saudi Arabia. Here's everything you need to know about basketball on Inbound. Earlier today, the world's best basketball prospects heard their names and were able to join the NBA in the 2021 NBA draft. Using the first overall pick, the Detroit Pistons selected Oklahoma State point guard Cade Cunningham as their future franchise cornerstone. Meanwhile, for the second pick, the Houston Rockets selected a familiar face in Filipino-American Jalen Green, a young shooting guard who played in the NBA G League before joining the pros. The Cleveland Cavaliers, meanwhile, selected USC center Evan Mobley with the third overall pick to add to their young core that includes Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. The Toronto Raptors, meanwhile, are looking to return to contention by selecting Scotty Barnes with the 4th overall pick, who they will pair with players like Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam. And with the 5th pick, the Orlando Magic selected Gonzaga guard Jalen Suggs, who looks to bring the Magic back into contention after years of struggling. And those are the top 5 picks of the NBA draft earlier today. And it's just exciting when the league gets a new batch of young players who are ready to show what they can do to the world. But of course, it's not really an NBA draft without a few surprises, and there were certainly a few today. The biggest, of course, was a stunning trade involving the LA Lakers and the Washington Wizards. The big news is that the Wizards point guard Russell Westbrook is joining the Lakers and will be forming a new big three together with All-Stars LeBron James and Anthony Davis. The Lakers are looking to return to title contention after a first-round exit in this year's playoffs. The Wizards, meanwhile, got Montrezl Harrell, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Kyle Kuzma, and a 2021 first-round pick in return for Westbrook, a 9-time All-Star and the 2017 NBA Most Valuable Player. The Wizards will look to pair these players with their All-Star Bradley Beal, who remains one of the league's best players. While the NBA teams are continuously beefing up their rosters, the PBA teams continue to parade their best early in the season. Let's look at the latest in the league in our PBA recap. The Philippine Cup picks up where it left off with another triple header today. In the first game, the Magnolia Hotshots Pambansang Manok hopes to make it 4 wins in a row to start the season when they battle the winless Terra Firma Jeep. In the second game, the TNT Tropang Giga returns to action when they face the Rain or Shine Alasto Painters, who are hungry to bounce back from their loss of the conference to Alaska and their subpar offensive performance. In the third game, Barangay Ginebra San Miguel looks to bounce back from their loss to Magnolia last Sunday when they faced the Northport Batang Pier. Everyone will be keeping an eye on how Northport big man Greg Slaughter will perform against his former team. Now, we cannot wait to see him battle against Japeth Aguilar and the rest of that Ginebra front line. From the PBA, we go to our national team where Gilas Pilipinas continues to compete in the King Abdullah Cup in Saudi Arabia. Just last night, Gilas scored a thrilling victory over Tunisia, 74-73. Thirdly, Ravenna hit clutch free throws in the final 9 seconds, while Ange Kwame blocked a crucial shot with time winding down to seal the victory over the 2017 Afro-Basket champions. Kwame led the team with 12 points, while Dwight Ramos added 11 points, and SJ Belangel finished with 10 in another impressive victory for Coach Tab Baldwin's young team. Gilas will next face Jordan in their final game of the eliminations and will play in the quarterfinals of the tournament. And that's what we got for you right here on Inbound. It's been a few days, hasn't it, since Hidilyn Diaz ended the country's 97-year gold medal Olympic drought. But everyone is still in high spirits after her victory in weightlifting. And here to give us more about her preparations for the Tokyo Olympics is Coach Jeaneth Aro, who is her sports nutritionist, who has been key in seeing to it that Hidilyn Diaz would perform at her peak. Here's Coach Jeaneth, who's still talking to us and looking after other athletes in Tokyo. So we'd like to thank you, Coach Jeaneth, for joining us. Can you please describe the support that you're also extending to other Pinoy athletes there?
Actually, I am commissioned here as a sports dietitian by first muna is by Team HD. So talagang si Heidi po yung I'm part of the core group of Heidi kasi it's just so happy na meron din akong ibang athletes na handle na part ng national team who are also competing here in the Olympics. And Hidilyn is really generous, no, to share me as a manpower resource to the other athletes that I'm handling also for the Olympics. So in terms of sa importance nung sa performance nila, kasi the fueling strategies for these athletes is totally different during training and during competition. This is one area also na na-overlook ng karamihan ng tao because they only think na ang nutrition is dapat sa training lang ginagawa. But then again, many of the good athletes are not, kumbaga, their performance is being compromised by improper food intake during competition. So, one thing talaga na napatunayan namin sa Team HD is that, lalo na sa competition na ito, is that nutrition should be implemented in every phase, no, of the performance of the athlete, not just in training but also in the competition.
Thanks, Coach Janet. Can you tell us about then the composition and the dynamics of Team HD?
Yeah. Sa Team HD kasi we are apat kami na coaches and but we have different specializations. So first we have our Chinese head weightlifting coach. Siya yung charge sa techniques and skills ni Hidilyn. She checks that regularly. And then we have Coach Julius Naranjo, who is the strength and conditioning and assistant weightlifting coach. And then we also have a sports psychologist, si Dr. Karen Trinidad, and me as the sports nutritionist. But although iba-iba yung aming mga specialization, one good thing that is common to all of us, including to with Heidi, is that all of us kasi are of the same faith. I guess that is the thing that really connected us together, that really binds us and puts us in focus and function as one mind during competition. That's how I see it. And actually, before before we leave the room of Hidilyn going to the competition, talagang we prayed, no, and I felt really the heart of each member of the team that we are united to do this together, not really for Heidi, but really to bring honor to the country. No, nakita namin yung dream ni Heidi, and okay, this is the dream that we also have. So we were united together as we went to the competition. So yun po.
Yeah, it's really encouraging to hear that faith does play a huge role, not just faith in the Lord, but faith to each other as well. And I wanted to focus more on your role and talk about nutrition. We know that it plays a big role in helping Heidi achieve her gold standard. And I just wanted to know what kind of adjustments you needed to make, especially when she had to stay in Malaysia during that lockdown for training.
Years ang years po yung ginugol namin for that. I started working with her in 2017, and I've seen her mature when it comes to her discipline to food. Kasi si Heidi, mahilig talaga siya kumain. And her weight category is 4 kilograms below her natural walking weight. And it takes a lot of effort to maintain a lean body composition. Tapos ganun yung timbang. So talagang disiplinado siya ng sobra. Ngayon nung lockdown, mas nabawasan yung access niya sa food, no, kasi yung mobility, hindi na siya nakakalabas masyado, ganyan. And to be honest, mas nakabuti yun para sa kanya. Dahil mas nabawasan yung temptation to eat out, at mas nakapag-focus sila, no, sila coaches and si Heidi, to cook their own meals. Kaya mas naging madali na i-control yung nutrition composition ng food na kinakain niya. So ngayon, actually sa totoo lang, yung mga food na kinakain niya, napakasimple lang naman. The usual Pinoy foods, may mga konting spices lang, ganyan. Mga curry, ganun. Tapos the usual chicken, beef, no, more on beef talaga sila actually. Tapos rice, and then for snacks, umiinom siya ng gatas, kumakain siya ng saging, peanut butter, bread with peanut butter. Ganun lang ka-basic, sobrang basic na to the point na mas nakokontrol niya yung food intake niya. Kasi nga, ayaw na rin namin siyang palabasin masyado dahil para hindi siya masyadong ma-expose. So, yun yung naging routine niya for the past almost 2 years actually na nandun sila sa Malaysia pagdating sa food intake. But aside from the food kasi, there are also supplementation strategies na hindi alam ng karamihan, na hindi na nila nakikita, na supplementation and nutrient timing also plays a key role in terms of her nutrition for us to be able to ensure that she gets to maintain her lean mass while losing body fat, and also to make sure that she will have the strength needed um, to lift the weight during the competition. Kasi as we get closer to the weigh-in, which is the competition day, medyo pabawas ng pabawas yung kinakain niya, but I had to make adjustments pagdating sa portions and the composition of food, yung carbs, proteins, and fats niya during the week before the competition to make sure that her muscles will be filled with the energy needed para ma-maintain yung power and strength on the competition while achieving the needed or the target body weight, which is 55 kilograms.
It's great to really have an expert like yourself be part of Team HD. Now, everyone has written and talked about the strategy that went on that night. And Francis Ochoa, one of the great writers that we have here in Philippine sports, talked about that chess match. But can you share with us more of the inside track on how that entire strategy went?
Actually, siguro for the past 3 or 4 competitions, talagang sila lang naman talagang naglalaban halos ni Heidi. But then again, parang yung sa last competition kasi, yung sa Uzbekistan, medyo hindi maganda yung naging performance ni Heidi doon dahil hindi kasi kami kompleto yung nung April 2021, no, dahil sa yung pandemic. So ngayon, nakita namin yung mga pagkukulang namin as a team. And unfortunately, yun yung parang tumatak sa utak ng Chinese team na okay, ito yung Philippines, ito yung current status ni Hidilyn, no? So pagdating sa competition, this is her level of strength, this is her level of performance. So hindi nila siya nakita as a threat. So ngayon, when the team together the first time, pagdating namin dito sa Tokyo, nag-meeting agad kami ng strategy. That was like 1 week before the competition. So pinag-usapan namin ano yung best na approach para ma-maintain yung confidence level ni Heidi all throughout the competition, knowing that she is strong enough to fight and compete with the Chinese weightlifter. So ngayon, may sinuggest yung Chinese coach namin, as in, Coach Kai Wen-gao, kung ano dapat yung gawin naming strategy, which is to build first the confidence of Heidi. Kaya yung unang lift niya, yung unang attempt niya, yung 94-120, ilang beses niya lang nabuhat sa training yon, which is maganda rin naman na in-implement ni Coach Julius Narano nung he really made sure na kailangan sa training pa lang, confident si Heidi na kaya ko to, nabuhat ko ito. And then from there, we progressed, no, based na doon sa ilalagay na numbers nung China. So ang strategy is laging 1 kilo above si Heidi. So yun, kasi alam namin to begin with yung lakas ni Heidi dahil nakita namin sa training. So kumbaga hindi na naging mahirap para kay Heidi na buhatin kung ano man yung sinasabi ng mga coaches. Sa totoo lang, wala naman talagang alam si Heidi dun sa strategy namin. Ang alam lang niya, bubuhatin niya kung ano yung inilagay ng mga coaches. And she's always reminded, no, ng aming sports psychologist na kailangan mong magtiwala sa coaches mo. So basically, ganun yung nangyari doon. And even inside the competition area, yung sa likod, very systematic din yung approach namin, very smooth. Siguro yung isang nakatulong pa dun sa sitwasyon is hindi kami nagpakita ng nasa-stress kami. We were very calm and composed.
You know, you talk about being calm and composed. I want to ask you more about your experience actually during the competition and the emotion that you went through during that.
Dahil sa totoo lang, during the actual competition, I wasn't watching at all because ang focus ko talaga nun ay yung needs ni Heidi. Dahil alam ko na halimbawa meron siyang kailangan. For example, she needed the drink. Kasi there are 3 types of drinks that I give her during that competition. And alam ko na pag may hilingi siya tapos medyo may delay dun sa pag-abot, maaapektuhan yung yung kanyang focus kasi kasama yun sa routine. Ngayon, nung final lift na pala, hindi ako aware actually na yun na yung last lift niya na pang gold na pala yun. So nagkaroon lang ako ng parang nag-sink in lang siya sa akin na it was already for the gold medal. Nung binuhat tapos pinagsak yung yung barbell, yung binagsak niya yung barbell and then umiyak na siya. It took me like 3 to 5 seconds to understand the situation that Heidi already won the gold medal. Kaya umiyak ako na sobra kasi sabi ko, wala akong kamalay-malay, tapos yun na pala yun. Tapos biglang parang naramdaman ko na biglang nawala lahat ng pagod, ganyan. Kasi before the competition, the day before that, ang dami pong nangyari, no? Ang dami pong nangyari na sobrang pagod na pagod ako tsaka si Coach Julius. And walang tulog for how many days, lalo na po ako because I'm also attending to the needs of other athletes. So sabi ko, sobrang worth it yung pagod na pinagdaanan namin, yung challenges. Talagang there's really nothing that I felt at that very moment when I realized that she won the gold medal, but to give praise and thanks to the Almighty God.
Praise God. Amen to that. Thank you so much, Coach Jeaneth, for taking the time to talk to us. Please extend our well wishes to the athletes there in Tokyo. Now it's day 7 of the Tokyo Olympics, and there are still Filipino athletes competing in their respective sports and showcasing their talents. It's encouraging to see that the country's athletes are not just able to qualify in such a wide range of sporting events, from golf to rowing to swimming. It also shows that the talent of Filipinos and athletes that we have from the Philippines are truly world class and can keep up with the best athletes at the highest levels of competition. We may have gotten breakthrough gold medal, but watch out, world. Our Filipino athletes are far from done winning in Tokyo. For more sports stories here and abroad that not just inform, but also inspire, catch Plus Sports every day on Plus Network. That's it for us here. I'm Patricia Bermudez. He's on. Thanks so much for watching.